Let's now talk about the secant line. What a secant line is any line that cuts through a curve in any 2 points. It'll determine the average rate of change. So between these 2 points, the average rate of change is the secant line. Because the average rate, remember, rate of change means slope. A secant line finds a slope between 2 points. All right, so the way you write that, remember m in the equation y equals mx plus b stood for slope. So they say m, which is slope, of the SEC, which stands for secant. And this is how you'd find it, the y minus y over x minus x. You take your second point, subtract it from the first point. Let's look here. It says find the average rate of change of this equation on the interval from -3 to 1. Now, I'm going to look at the picture. And here we have the picture, and we can see these two, the secant lines in red. Now, we're going to look from the 2 points that intersect. This is going to be the first point. This will be the second point. Now, I know we could count. We could go, this looks like it's counting by 12 and say it goes up 36 units and it goes over 2 units. So we could say it has a slope of 36 divided by 2, which would be 18. Now, if you could not just count, you can always write it out. So you'd say m secant is going to equal the f of the second point, the function value. I'm sorry when I say, so this point here is -1, 0. So you take the y, and we're going to subtract it, and the x, and we're going to subtract it from this point here. And this point is -3, -36. And so now we plug those in. So we'll have a -36 here for the y and a -3 here. So as we go to simplify this, the secant becomes 0 plus 36 over -1 plus 3, which is just the values I told you before. 36 divided by 2, which equals 18. The slope of the secant is 18. That's the average rate of change. All right, and so now let's try another one. It says find the average rate of change of this new equation on the interval 2 to 5. So we're looking here. We're going to look between this point here, 2, and this point here at 5. Now it appears to me that this point is right 2, and it's hard to tell exactly how high that is. So let's determine it real quick. F of 2 would equal -2 times 2 squared plus 4 times 2 plus 6. This becomes 2 squared is 4 times -2. That's -8 plus 8 plus 6. That would equal 6. So we have the point here when x is 2. We have 2, 6. So I'll put that there, 2 comma 6. And now let's find the other point at, when the function value 5. We have -2 times 5 squared plus 4 times 5 plus 6. We do some math here. 5 squared is 25 times -2 is -50 plus 20 plus 6. So if I owed someone $50, if I have 20, well, I still owe them 30 more, but then I get $6 more, so I still owe 24. That means this point is 5 -24. All right, so now let's find this secant. To find the slope of the secant, we're going to say m, let me make that more like an m, equals, you take a f2, which is -24, and we subtract it from the f1, which is 6, over the second x, which is 5, subtracted by the first x, which was 2. We end up with, if I owed someone $24, I owe someone else $6. I owe a total of 30. Let's try it again, 30. There we go. And then 5 minus 2 is obviously 3. So the slope here is -10. So that would be our secant slope. All right, now you have one to try.